there's no place like home for the holidays. And no matter how far away you roam, if you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can.
Welcome back to Horror for the Holidays, a Christmas horror movie podcast. I'm Jay Logsden.
And I'm Jeff Searcy.
Jeff, it's here we are. We're in June. We're approaching Fat Boy Summer.
Oh, it's getting close.
Yeah, we still got to figure out what we're gonna do for that, but it's coming.
Oh, it's coming. Got to do the photo shoot.
People are gonna pay for that. Certainly,
Oh, yeah. They're gonna pay. They're all gonna pay.
They're gonna pay.
They see my new two-piece.
But it's getting hot. It's getting muggy. We've actually had some pretty nice days here in between the unbearably hot, sweaty days.
Yes. You know, Iowa. 65 one day, 95 the next day.
I literally talked to my dad down in Arizona, and he was like, "Oh, it's great." And he's like, it's like 70 today. And I looked, I'm like, here's 90. Like, shut the fuck up. He's like, it's 70 and rainy. Like, he's like, it's a really nice day. And I'm like, motherfucker, like, shut the fuck up.
I guess there's a reason why all those retired people moved to Arizona.
Yeah. And then, like, granted, it's going to be, I'm sure it's like 100 there today. And it's, 70 here today. Beautiful. But
True.
Still, anyway.
Enough old man chatting about the weather.
Let's watch a movie where a big part of it is chatting about the weather and then there's no payoff. Let's talk about One Hell of a Christmas.
Oh boy. Well, Jay, I gotta tell you, I just spent 2 years in prison, and I really need to be a good father to my son. Okay, so quit trying to drag me into your crazy schemes.
Jeff, I'll never stop with these crazy schemes.
Okay, fine. Pass me the devil cocaine.
Released December 10th, 2002. Oh, hey.
In the window.
Hey, good job,
Good.
guys.
I can give you credit for that.
You know what? One of the chalk it up in the win column for this movie.
It needs them.
Written and directed by Shaky Gonzalez.
Of course, yes.
Starring Tolo Montana as Carlitos.
Yep.
And then we're going to read a bunch of names that don't necessarily match the ethnicity of the characters. We got Thor Lindhart as Mike.
Yep.
Who Mike, constantly says bro and essay and
That's
stuff
right,
like that.
That's right, essay.
Zlatko Buric as Ibrahim. Pat Kelman is the Englishman. Man, the Englishman's a pretty on brand name, and then his name's Pat Kelman. That actually adds up.
Yeah, I'm liking that.
Maiken Graveland as the mother.
Of course.
And Ricky Thorsberg is the son. We've got Eric Holmoy as the devil. And Jeff, this is just for you. He plays Turanian war officer in Conan the Barbarian.
Nice.
And henchman of Queen Tyrannus in Conan the Destroyer.
Ah, cool. Well, it's good he was in some good stuff.
Yeah. I think I saw a couple of the people involved in this movie were involved in Sisu, which was another movie made by the what's the Rare Exports.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm like, there is some connection, but none of them were in Rare Exports, sadly. I don't know. I was hoping some of these guys would be the naked dong.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have
Santas.
naked elves running through the woods.
Jabber Dalvan plays Arab.
Of course.
Pac Damsgaard is waitress/stripper.
Yeah. Oh no, not the stripper, Jay.
Klaus P. Jansen is Cowboy Jack.
Of course.
Tommy Belialfield is Tommy.
Yeah.
Sala El Kuza is Bobby.
Of course.
Do I recognize Bobby? I'm not even sure. Lassie Skoo Lindstad is Wolfie/Demon. Alberto Gonzalez is prisoner. Niels Rask is prison guard.
Of course. Yeah.
Louis Lind Rasmussen is Maja Mulak.
Yes, obviously.
Sorry. Louise Lind Rasmussen and Maja Mulak both play prostitute. Sorry, my bad. Jennifer Lyon Keat is TV news anchor.
Of course, yes.
John Kalmar is gangster. Jacob Holm is bar guest in men's room.
Of course, yes. It's good we credited all these people, Jay. We needed this.
Fleming Hygren is bar guest. I'm assuming not in men's room.
No.
David Bateson is the voice of Agent 47 from the Hitman games. Is the voice of Tommy.
Ah, thank God.
So I think you and I were talking about off air is I'm like, is Tommy's voice, is the actor who plays Tommy not voicing the character who plays Tommy? And we were unsure. And then reading my own notes, I verified that indeed.
Many of the actors were dubbed, or some of them who could speak English were coached to kind of have like a New York accent they went for, even though this is set in Nevada.
It's Nevada, but also there's a port directly to the ocean.
Yes. Jay, let's not get crazy now. This couldn't have been possibly filmed in Copenhagen, Jay.
AKA The Claw. That's an alternate title for the movie, which may be more fitting.
Honestly, that probably would have been a cooler title.
Tagline: better watch out, better not die.
I like it.
I like that.
Another thing I like, Jay, is apparently the warehouse they shot the majority of the movie in had no heat, and so everybody was freezing in between takes. So that adds a little bit to that Christmas feeling. No heat in Denmark in winter. Nice.
According to IMDb, the estimated budget was $400,000.
Yeah, that's what I saw around that.
This is a Fangoria production, which I only bring up because it has some connection to another horror for the holidays beloved film, Trapped Alive.
Of course, yes, one of our favorites.
Trapped Alive, the studio that made Trapped Alive was some kind of studio in Wisconsin, and that studio got taken over by Fangoria at some point. And so there is a direct connection between another movie that we hate. Sorry, let it all out that there's another movie. That this is a movie that we hate. Oops.
Tolo Montana, Jay, our famous Carlitos, did all of his own stunts.
I'd believe it. Actually, he does. If there's one character who maybe stands out,
yeah,
he's pretty good.
He probably the best performance.
Yep. Although it's hard to hear anything he says. We'll get to that. Where to watch? Hell if I know.
Daily Motion has a copy mirrored and split up into two parts. You can get a DVD on eBay for a fairly reasonable price.
I did. Word of warning about the DVD. I'm gonna come back to this multiple times. The DVD only offers the option for subtitles in Spanish.
Yes.
Which means if you're trying to figure out what these people are saying because you can't hear due to the weird sound mixing, good luck. You're gonna have to be able to read Spanish to be able to understand what's being said.
I got a few notes about the production. So that weird part where it looks like the building is possessed and rotating around them, they built a plywood hallway and put it on like basically a Lazy Susan to rotate it and kind of spun it around with hand cranks while the actors were in there to get that effect. That was pretty interesting.
Is that the big like orgy, demon cocaine orgy party?
It's supposed to look like everything's like morphing on the walls or whatever. Yeah. A scene had to be reshot because they had used so many fog machines that it set off the sprinkler system in the warehouse and flooded everything out. I thought that was amazing. And apparently rumors circulated among the crew that the production was haunted because there had been like 3 random electrical fires and a piece of scaffolding apparently fell and broke a gaffer's leg.
Amazing.
So,
you know what?
It's a little bit of supernatural.
Makes me like the movie a little more. You know what? Makes me change my whole opinion. Great movie.
Apparently, he got the idea. The Carol of the Bells played backward, the opening track. Mm-hmm. He got that idea from the backwards audio in The Exorcist, which he loved. He's a big fan of John Carpenter. He said that in an interview. He said that's what inspired him to do the latex and mix. He used John Carpenter's trick of mixing the blood syrup with coffee grounds to make it look more real. So this guy, even though we can debate the quality of the movie that came out, he actually cares about making movies, so that's a point in his favor.
I think Shaky Gonzalez deserve actually like Not a lot of people involved in this movie. I'm just gonna say it right now. Not a lot of the people involved in this movie, I think, get to walk out with their head held high. I think Tolo Montana and Shaky Gonzalez
Yes.
actually both worked really hard.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And apparently the original ending had Carlitos dying, but test audiences hated it, so they switched it.
I mean, maybe that's what happens anyway, based off of how weird the ending of this movie is.
We'll just be nice and say it's an ambiguous ending, Jay. That's what all the kids say now, right?
That's the thing. I don't even know if I would say it's ambiguous. It's just, I don't know. It's one of those where it's like there were almost multiple like stop points I could feel, and then the movie kept going, and the movie didn't do anything new with its new potential ending. It just kept going.
True.
Personal experience, other than buying this on eBay, I had none.
Jay told me we were gonna do it. I tried to find a copy of it to watch, and I was originally pointed to like a Turkish goat herding video, like a how-to tutorial on how to herd goats.
Yeah, Jeff, listeners to Stocking Stuffers know all this.
Yep, of course, yes.
Which, of course, every listener who listens to the main episodes also listens to Stocking Stuffers.
Oh yes, Jay. I've seen tens of people listen to Stocking Stuffers.
As Jeff found out live on air that we were going to be watching One Hell of a Christmas.
Watch Jay Logston be punished for his hubris once again. Well, we can't possibly get anything worse than Krampus versus Sasquatch.
I mean, I still stand by that. All right. Let's do our synopsis.
All right, let's get into it.
We see Ibrahim talking to some pets, and he mentions that it is Christmas. One of his servants / employees / staff. It winds up being a servant, I think, is what he winds up being called. But I'm like, does he work for him? Is he like in servitude to him?
No one knows.
Is like his bodyguard? Informs him that the Englishman has arrived.
Good. I was waiting for the Englishman.
The Englishman tells him he has something for him, but it will cost him. It is magic, old magic, and Ibrahim slams some money on the table and says, "Show me." Out of the Englishman, out of a box, takes out a smaller box with dry ice smoke billowing out of it.
Yes.
And in that box is a singular like claw / talon.
Yes.
Ibrahim asks where the Englishman got it, and the Englishman responds, "That is my little secret." Ibrahim laughs as the opening credits roll over images of the talon / claw. Title card.
One hell of a Christmas.
And then we see the claw move backwards from the screen, like wreathed in fire.
It was originally called Enforcement for some reason in some markets.
Oh, that's a terrible name. Carlitos is, we're at the Federal Correction Institute in Nevada, and Carlitos is being released from prison. He seems to have been on good standing with most of the people there, so it is unclear why he was in prison, and we will never actually find out.
Well, and he served 2 years, Jay, which they're acting like is a long time, but is like nothing for prison sentence. But
the only thing we find out is Mike was the reason he was in prison. We never find out what Carlitos did for Mike that put him in prison.
It doesn't matter, Jay. It doesn't matter.
Carlitos is mad because Mike isn't there to pick him up, and he yells "Mike" into the sky and starts hitchhiking. A guy with bad ADR dialogue picks him up, and he with a line that says, "Yes, that's my wife and daughter, Little Pumpkin."
Yes.
His name is Tommy. Tommy drops Carlitos off in the city, in an unnamed city that we're assuming is in Nevada. So
Sure.
I'm assuming Las Vegas.
Sure, Jay, sure.
Where at a payphone, Carlitos calls Mike and tells him he'll meet him at the old diner.
Of course, the old diner.
Yeah, the old diner.
The random city I hitchhiked to.
Inside the diner, the waitress pours Carlitos a cup of coffee, and the weather report talks about how warm the winter is. And the waitress also says something the same. And also Tom mentioned how hot it is outside. Will this get picked up on or resolved in any way? No, it will not.
No, it's also going to undercut when it snows later. This is such a warm winter.
I thought there was I was like, okay, is there going to be is this demonic magical item that's missing causing the warm weather? No, I don't believe it is.
I don't. No, Jay. It's just a warm winter.
Global warming, am I right?
Yeah.
The waitress tells him that a crazy guy named Mike left something for him, and inside is a cell phone.
Of course.
Carlitos calls and talks to Mike about meeting up later that evening. And then Carlitos asks the waitress what she's doing. And she gives him a card with her number on it. And she says, "I don't really work here." So what the fuck is she doing there? Why did she pour him coffee if she doesn't actually work at the diner?
Why would Mike go there, leave a cell phone for him, then leave instead of just meeting him there?
Also, why would she then accept it if some crazy guy left a present for a guy? "Oh yeah, my friend Carlitos will just show up. He just got out of prison. Can you give this to him when he shows up here?" No, I tell him to go fuck himself.
I don't know, Jay. See, he somehow knew ahead of time the random diner that he would stop at in the random city he hitchhiked to, and he knew that this woman would stay there long enough, even though she doesn't work there, to give him the cell phone.
If she doesn't really work there, why does she have the uniform of someone who works there?
Because, Jay, she's undercover. She's in deep cover as a waitress at a random restaurant on the off chance that Carlitos decides to stop there.
Cut to Mike walking through like an industrial area that's clearly like a shipyard.
Yes. It's almost like it's a warehouse in Copenhagen, Jay.
He knocks on a door when we see Ibrahim's servant from earlier. Mike asks to speak to Ibrahim. Mike is let in, sees that Ibrahim has a bunch of ladies standing around in lingerie. Mike gets some weed from Ibrahim and is in the process of asking about the claw that Ibrahim now wears around his neck when Ibrahim is told that the Englishman is back.
Oh, good. I missed him the first time, Jay, so I'm glad I'm here to see him the second time.
I was really hoping the Englishman would last longer than 2 scenes.
Did the Englishman have a Scotch egg with him by chance?
Oi, Gov. There was a funny bit where I think every time we see Ibrahim's servant, he's eating something or he's either in the process of eating something, starting to eat something, or trying to eat something. And I thought that was a really funny bit. Back to Carlitos, who is in a cab watching a mother and son outside of a toy store. Is this his kid? Yes, and I think it winds up being. But then how did the cab find him? How did he know where to go? Did he just tell the cab, like...
Find my wife and son. Yes, Jay, that's how it worked, because that's what's in the script.
He then goes inside and buys the toy the kid was looking at, which is like a giant stuffed wolf. Also, Carlitos could hear their conversation in a running car on the other side of the street from them.
God,
a
Jay.
busy street.
Obviously, that's how life works. You can't hear across the street on a busy city?
Of course I can.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Years of listening to podcasts and loud music certainly hasn't ruined my hearing.
That's right.
What?
Kind of losers would make or listen to a podcast, Jay.
Who knows? Back at Ibrahim's, Mike overhears Ibrahim and the Englishman arguing about giving the claw back. Ibrahim snorts it and is able to crush a statue with his bare hands. Also, Ibrahim brags about satisfying 3 women.
Of course.
The Englishman says they are dealing with evil and have to give it back to its owner. Just then, the servant walks in, blood dripping from his mouth. Ibrahim runs and Mike watches from behind a beaded curtain in the kitchen as a mysterious figure in black boots walks in and plunges his hand into the Englishman's chest as the Englishman says, "Oh, I'm sorry, master. I got greedy." The Englishman falls to the ground covered in blood, and the 3 ladies in lingerie see this and start screaming. The man in black kills the ladies with just a big gush of blood on the ground. And then kills Ibrahim and throws his head into the kitchen, where Mike grabs the necklace and sees the man in black and, I don't know, like a statue, a little guy.
Yeah.
I describe him later as a little guy.
Yes,
There's the little demon guy, and they kind of look at him as he runs away.
Oi, governor, it's sad that our buddy wasn't there. He could have sorted that guy
Oh,
out.
Simon Phillips would have easily handled the devil in this movie.
God, that would be amazing.
Carlitos arrives at his house and is still able to get inside after being in prison for 2 years.
And apparently being, he's estranged from his wife and son, so how he would have access to this house, I have no idea.
But it's his house because it's his house, but yeah, he's estranged from... And then there's a bunch of mail on... Who's been paying for the electricity, utilities, or taxes on this house?
Just don't ask, Jay. Just don't ask.
Because we see like a pile of mail inside the front door.
Just pass me the clockane.
That's a good name for it.
I know, it would have been much better to call it clockane. That would have been great.
He sits and stares at a picture of his son as sad alternative rock plays.
Do-do-do-do.
Carlitos calls, and I do think and this is where it's verified that this is the mother and son from earlier. He was paying the cab driver to stare at. The kid asks Carlitos if he was in prison for killing people, and Carlitos says he could never do that. The mom takes the phone and tells Carlitos he'll never change and hangs up.
Oh, Jay, he could never do that, but soon he will.
Yep. In the weirdest way possible. Someone rings Carlitos' doorbell, and when he answers, no one is there. And we get kind of like a Michael Myers style, like POV shot, like watching from the bushes. And then
It almost reminded me of like an Evil Deadite shot.
This is very, I think, Evil Dead inspired. Mike tackles him and laughs. Mike then shows Carlitos the claw, and we get a POV shot once again of something watching from outside.
Oh, God. Now they're going to do the Claw Cane and get attacked by the demons.
Yes. Yes, Jeff, exactly. Mike tells Carlitos about the claw, and he recounts using it to fight some gang members he owes money to. He broke one of the dude's arms, like snapped the bone straight through the flesh. Another dude he headbutted in his mouth and like caused all of his teeth to fall out. And a third guy he just like threw around and then maybe dodged some bullets. It was hard to tell. And then stole a car.
You know what, Jay? There's a burning question. If we ever get a chance to talk to Jack Black, we need to ask him if he saw this before he made Pick of Destiny. This gives me heavy Pick of Destiny vibes, and it was only a couple years later.
Carlitos and Mike snort some of the claw cane. Fuck it, Jeff.
Yes.
That's what we're calling it.
All right, good.
Carlitos and Mike snort some of the claw cane, and they proceed to try out their powers. And then I think call the waitress from earlier. Like
Yes.
It's unclear who they call, and then the waitress shows up. She strips, and then Carlitos. They all take claw cane, and Carlitos proceeds to like fuck her to death.
Yes. With his Claw Cane enhanced penis, Jay.
Yep. They have sex in front of Mike. She sucks his dick and chokes on it and dies.
Yes. Obviously.
They wake up, like Carlitos is confused about her dead body, so they go and bury her in the backyard.
Oh my God.
Mike leaves Carlitos with a claw so he can go find a buyer for it. Carlitos thinks about calling 911, but they answer and he quickly hangs up.
911, what's your emergency? Nothing.
Click. Carlitos falls asleep and it starts storming and he is woken up by the lightning. I think he sees, so at this point, I think he sees that the waitress's grave has been dug up. Like, I don't know why he's so paranoid at this time because it turns out nothing is going to happen in this scene. Because I was like, they're building a bunch of tension and then nothing really happens.
I guess it's to make the only reason I can think of is because they want to make you still sympathize with him, so that it's like he's feeling guilty about it or whatever. But I mean, at this point, no one really cares what's going on. So
we get jump scared with his phone ringing.
Ah.
It's his ex telling him they'll be by for Christmas in the morning. But Carlitos is still paranoid by the sounds. We then cut to the ex who has been sleeping with Mike.
The horror. Literally the day before, by the way.
Carlitos continues walking through the house, and we get this funny sight gag of him holding a flashlight in one hand and his gun in the other hand, and then he like swaps them between the two hands multiple times while he's trying to open his deep freeze. Also gave me big Alan Wake vibes. I'm currently playing Alan Wake 2, and I'm like, I'm constantly having to pull out that fucking flashlight.
Don't worry, Jay. Mike's going to walk up to Carlitos, and he's going to be like, don't worry about that stripper we killed. We can bring her back.
Carlitos gets trapped / pulled into the deep freeze and screams as we then see the dirt on the waitress's grave start to move and a hand pops out. So it turns out it wasn't empty the first time.
No.
Carlitos then wakes up back in his bed and pukes. And I was like, oh, was that all a dream? No, all of that stuff happened, but somehow he got back into his bed.
The demon put him back in bed, Jay. He's not a monster.
He goes to splash water on his face and he sees someone moving in the Christmas, like behind the Christmas tree in the reflection of the mirror. Carlitos goes to investigate, and literally this feels like the exact same scene that we just finished.
Yes.
Where he's like walking back through the house as it's storming. The patio door is open for some reason. Rain's getting into the house. Literally all these things just happened, and it all happens again.
Jay, we got to get this baby up to feature length.
He closes the patio door, and the waitress is standing in the living room behind him, except she looks all demonic, and that legitimately this moment did jump scare me. The first appearance of the waitress, I was like, oh, that, like, It was creepy, and I was like,
Yes.
oh shit, that was actually really good.
That was well done.
She says something that I just don't understand because it is a combination of bad sound mixing, voice distortion, and a lack of subtitles. She just goes,
No, Jay, you were mishearing. I believe it was.
and then smacks Carlitos across the room, and he crashes into his Christmas tree.
The horror.
Carlitos is able to get a meat cleaver from the kitchen, and he looks for the waitress while the waitress finds the claw. But the waitress finds Carlitos first and says a bunch more shit that's unintelligible and beats the shit out of him for a while. But Carlitos is able to get the meat cleaver and says, "Suck on this, you bitch," and tomahawk throws it into her face,
Yes.
causing her to fall on top of him. And Carlitos has to push her off and takes the claw back. Smoke comes out of the claw, and we see some kind of like smoke / like demonic soul leave the waitress's mouth.
Yes.
Only for a fast-moving POV shot to move through Carlitos' house and knock out a Fisher-Price cassette playing Jingle Bells.
Damn, another Deadites loose.
Carlitos goes to see what it was, just for the Wolfie, the large stuffed animal he bought for his son, to come alive and attack him. They fight for a bit, but Carlitos is able to overpower it with a baseball bat. Swings the baseball bat at it and causes it to fly across the room.
The wolf's one weakness, the baseball bat.
And then he takes the claw back. Also, we get this great scene where is this the moment where he thinks that Wolfie is up in the attic?
Yes.
And he stands staring at the ladder for the attic just for the wolf to like jump out from behind him.
Yes. Oh my God. You know what that reminded me of? That entire scene in the house where she comes back and then he fights with Wolfie reminds me of the scene in Army of Darkness where he's fighting the little clones of himself when he stops at that mill for the night. It gave me heavy vibes from Army of Darkness.
This was clearly, I think, heavily inspired by Sam. You said John Carpenter. I think there's a lot of Sam Raimi in this movie.
There's both for sure.
Carlitos goes back to his phone and calls Mike, who is currently being mounted by Carlitos' ex. So we know that also wasn't a dream.
Yes.
Carlitos demands to know where the claw from earlier came from, but another sound distracts Carlitos, and we see the cowboy poster on Carlitos' wall is now missing the cowboy.
Oh, no.
Which I thought that was a really cool
Yes,
effect.
that was pretty good.
In walks the cowboy with a demonic-looking face, and I think he says, "Howdy, Daddy. This house isn't big enough. This house ain't big enough for the two of us." Although it's unclear because once again the weird sound mixing. But I like that he called him Daddy.
Yes. Very demonic.
The cowboy gives Carlitos a chance to draw, but Carlitos doesn't have a gun. He dodges around the house till he finds his gun and puts one right between the cowboy's eyes, and he like tears apart like a bunch of pieces of paper because he was the cowboy out of a movie poster, which I
Yes.
thought was a cool effect.
It was cool, and I don't know if you caught the good, the bad, and the ugly reference in the stare down or not.
Probably not.
Yeah, but there's a good, the bad, and the ugly reference in the stare down.
Carlitos has this little Santa doll that we've seen kind of over the course of the movie that listeners who remember, what was the name of that movie that we watched? Slade.
Oh,
where
yeah.
there was like the Santa head that like, ho,
Yeah.
ho, ho.
Oh.
Carlitos essentially has one of those. And it gets possessed and it has like this little demon face and light up red eyes. Looks amazing. And Carlitos shoots it. It says, "Go to hell."
Yeah, you definitely can't fault the effects in this movie. I will say that. They did a pretty good job.
The demonic soul thing whips around and then winds up in the hands of the man in black from earlier. I think he said, once again, the weird sound mixing. I think the man in black says his name is Santa.
Yes, he is. He's Satan and Santa. In this universe, apparently they're two sides of the same being.
And with a laugh, he also has that little guy from earlier with him.
Yeah.
I loved that little guy.
I love that.
The claw like refuses itself to the man in black's like pinky finger.
Of course.
So apparently that's where it was like the devil's pinky finger.
Yes, it's almost like the piece of the devil's horn that's the pick of destiny, Jay. Or is it his tooth? I don't remember which.
He says he's got to be going because it's the busiest night of the year. And he says he's going to bring Carlitos along. And his aura overpowers Carlitos.
Damn.
Real like Dragon Ball Z
Yeah.
powering up shit.
Oh my God. Yeah, this isn't even my final form.
In runs Mike, who offers himself up instead because he's the one who stole the claw. And they leave together in a flash of light. And when Carlitos goes to follow, he finds Mike's hand sticking out of the toilet and pulls Carlitos in to the toilet with him into another realm.
We're in hell now.
Carlitos finds Mike all chained up, and they try to hold on to each other. But the man in black asks, if they're best friends and everything, do they even share wives? And this causes Carlitos to kind of fumble, and Mike is pulled back into the fire, and the man in black laughs, but now looks like a full-on Satan devil guy
Oh my god.
with horns and everything. And this is the only time you see him looking like this.
It's all you need, Jay.
Carlitos wakes up, a bottle of Jack still in his hand. There is now snow on the ground. Crazy weather we've been having. His ex-wife and son come and visit. They all play, and at one point the son says, "Mommy, Daddy, kiss," and they do. And then I think the son also says, "Mommy, kiss me." Just very strange. And then we cut to like Wolfie the toy, and its eyes move. End of movie. Final credits.
Dun.
I just thought, "Mommy, Daddy, kiss."
Yes. Of my two quotes, that was one of them, Jay. Mommy, daddy, kiss. And they do.
Well, Jeff,
All I wanted was one clean Christmas, Jay. But I guess hell came early this year.
we've kind of mentioned it, but I would like to start with Broken Bulb, Brilliant Bulb.
You
if
want to
that's all
start
right.
at the end? I guess we'll do everything topsy-turvy.
Unless you have anything before we jump into our categories.
Nah, I think we've said enough.
My Broken Bulb, the thing I want to fix, is the sound mixing. Why was it so bad? We've watched some movies with bad sound, but this was worse than some of the student-made films I watched when I was in college. There's no excuse for that, and there's also no excuse for no subtitles that are readable when the sound mixing is this bad.
That you hit the nail on the head. That was my thing was use some of this $400,000 to hire a sound engineer, because this is just. It's unforgivable. This has worse sound than the movie I shot in 8th grade for film class.
No, exactly. I was literally sitting there like watching this, and I went like, man, there were some people in like my film class in college who like the sound mixing sounded terrible, and those were better than these.
No, I don't understand how you even get sound this bad. There had to have been somebody like actively fucking it up. That's the only thing I can think. Because it is just, and your dual point, because I didn't even make that point, but yes, because I didn't have the DVD. But yes, there being no subtitles in a language, I mean, if you, especially in a joint English-Danish production, there should at least be English and Danish subtitles, you would think.
Don't worry, on the back of the DVD case, in special features, it does not mention subtitles. So I was in the wrong for expecting subtitles.
Is that a special feature now?
I mean, maybe back in 2002 it was.
Yeah, it was like maybe in like the late 90s, early 2000s, you could call that a special feature. But subtitles are pretty much standard now. And to not have subtitles, especially on a movie with sound this bad, because they had to know. They watched it back when they were editing it. It's like, and obviously they had ADR'd in a ton of dialogue, so they knew what the sound was like.
So I don't know, ADR in the demonic voice, or if they did, do it again it sounds better.
I was going to say, what happened if they did? No, honestly, it's like, I think they didn't have enough microphone coverage for everybody, and they shot in a space that was too big, probably, and there's too much echo and distortion in the sound, and apparently they didn't decide to spend some of that budget on a sound guy to help fix some of these problems. Because, I mean, honestly, even a decent sound guy could have made this movie sound like any other movie. I mean, now, if something like this was made now, it would probably have perfect sound because somebody on the Shudder production team or whatever would probably show up and do the sound for this.
At least they would have someone come and do it again.
Yeah.
And do it over. So it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If somebody submitted a movie like this to one of these streaming services now with sound like this, they'd be like, all right, we got to do something about this.
Yeah. Or you've got to do something about this.
Or at the very least, we got to subtitle this thing.
Brilliant Bulb, Jeff. Thing you want to praise?
Honestly, I wanted to praise it's kind of a dual praise. We talked about the director and the actor earlier doing a good job, but I wanted to praise the director's use of special effects in this movie because he seems to have a really good eye for it. If the one thing you can say about this movie is it has good effects. There's several notable effects, especially done on such a low budget, that look really good. I mean, the blood looks pretty good in this movie, I will say, which is the downfall of a lot of these cheap movies is the blood looks terrible, like red Kool-Aid in a lot of cases. But no, like we talked about, the cowboy effect looked really cool. The dead stripper looked really cool. The fight with the wolf plushie coming to life and fighting him, that all looked good. I mean, there's even like the cool, like the smoke effect from the claw or whatever when the demon's like going in and out of it looked good. As like surprisingly for a movie that did so many other things that are so easy to do wrong, like sound and a plot that you can follow pretty easily, this movie did a great job on special effects.
No, the cowboy like has like weird like demonic ridges, like
Yes.
Klingon ridges around its eyes.
The makeup job on some of these actors was great. I mean, even the cheesy devil reveal or whatever in the last scene where he's alive. Well, I mean, he's still alive before he's banished or whatever. Looks really good.
Yeah.
I thought they did a solid job with it.
No, my praise is pretty much the same thing. I thought all the monsters looked really, really neat. And like I said, the waitress literally jump scared me. Like the first time I saw it, I went, whoa! Like,
No, I can see why this is a cult classic. That's what I'll say.
but yeah, it even, yeah, I thought all the monsters, like all the effects looked really, really good.
Honestly, if he hasn't done it already, I really want to see Joe Bob do this and do his opening rundown of the number of things in this, because I want to see what he would call all these kills.
Well, let's see. I think we've got gun foo, baseball bat foo, meat cleaver foo.
That's what I'm going to say, like one wolf beating.
All right. What category do you want to move to next?
Let's go Christmas spirit.
All right. How Christmassy is the movie? How Christmassy are the kills? Kills, not really.
Really. Movie, not really.
You get a Christmas toy coming to life,
Yes.
which I would say is a little Christmassy.
It would have been cooler if it was a specifically Christmas toy that came to life, but it's kind of a generic toy. So,
and then you get the demonic toy Santa thing,
Yeah.
which that
Cool.
that was great.
yeah. But no, I'm going to say pretty light on both, honestly.
Yeah, the movie barely. Early on, I thought there was so much potential. Like it seemed like there was some Christmas stuff. It seemed like there was going to be something to do with why it's so hot at Christmas time, and we were gonna get something. And like, no, none of that gets answered. None of that gets resolved.
No, that's why I criticized the writing earlier, because it's like there are so many drop threads in the plot that just go nowhere, characters that go nowhere.
I thought the gangsters would show up to fight, and then get killed by the demons. Nope.
Yeah, no, just a lot of missed opportunities in the writing. And in the I almost thought maybe we would get like a Day of the Beast where it wasn't super Christmassy, but then we'd have like a Christmas bomb at the end, but we never got that either.
Yep. Yeah, it's just it's like I really thought there was gonna like a lot of potential, and I was like, oh, this is gonna wind up being like a not as good as Two Front Teeth, but this is gonna wind up being a Two Front Teeth. And just as the movie went on, I'm like, we're not gonna get any Christmas shit, are we? Like,
Nope. Unfortunately not.
Like you get a Christmas tree in Carlitos' house, you get some Christmas lights outside. You get the demonic Santa, and then you just get people talking about that it is Christmas, and that's about
Christmas.
it. Let's do Christmas carols. Let's do quotes of what we could glean is being said.
Mommy, Daddy, kiss. And they do.
And they do. All right, I think I've got about 4.
All right.
Some of them I think I've already said.
Go ahead.
So early on, when Carlitos is getting this is the first thing that happens when Carlitos is released from prison, and it's more the delivery than it is the line itself. But so the prison guard goes, "Okay, Carlitos, you're out of here. Get your stuff and go." And Carlitos goes, "I'm never coming back to this place." And the prison guard again goes, "Let's hope not. It's been a pleasure having you here." And I'm like, is he being sarcastic or is he being sincere? Because it sounds like he's just reading from a script. and just like reading these lines for the first time. And so I'm like, is he supposed to be sarcastic? Like, oh, let's hope not. It's been a pleasure having you here. Or is he like legitimately like, Carlitos, you've been nothing but great. Like, we loved having you in prison. Don't come back, buddy. You deserve better.
Yeah. Who knows, Jay? No one will ever know. I've got my second quote, Jay. I only pulled the two. I want to be a good father to my son. 5 million times. You know what? After the first 10 times, I wanted to kill his son myself, Jay. I turned into a demon.
The waitress. I don't really work here, and handsome, I'll do more than dance. And she does.
And she does. Much to her detriment.
Ibrahim. Englishman, I'm strong. I'm invincible, Englishman. I satisfied 3 women, and you want me to give it back?
I'm pretty sure he could have accomplished that without the clocaine, with just some Viagra, but, I mean, whatever floats his boat, Jay.
And then the last line, just give me the claw back, you furry bitch. Carlitos to the possessed Wolfie doll.
Yes, I like that one. I like all of his his Ash Williams style one-liners.
All right, well, let's do Christmas wrapping. That's all we got left category-wise. Set, costumes, etc. Things you want to shout out.
We already talked about the little Santa that gets turned demonic.
Honestly, if I could buy that prop, or if someone made something like that, I would absolutely. It looked great.
No,
it looked awesome.
Good, it's good. We talked. He has a Christmas tree. It's nothing special. Pretty generic Christmas tree. Few Christmas lights scattered around, but not really a notable amount. No cool displays or anything.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, all the monsters look great.
Yeah,
the gore all looks pretty solid. For a movie made with a low budget, all the effects are amazing.
Yeah. I wish they were more Christmas themed, some of the monsters or whatever, but yeah, they all look good.
Oh, one other thing we forgot to shout out. Mike does wear a Santa hat for about half the movie. When it turns out that Carlitos' wife is sleeping with Mike, I wasn't sure if it was Mike because he wasn't wearing the Santa hat at first.
It's the only time he takes it off, Jay, is when he's plowing your wife.
Well, Jeff, if you don't have anything else, every episode of Horror for the Holidays, we rate our movie on one of 3 categories. Is it ho 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 hilarious? Is it seasonally scary? Or is it you'll be sorry?
It's you'll be sorry for me, Jay. And the only reason is because you don't even know what's going on for half the movie because you can't understand the dialogue or the sound. If they were to remaster this movie with a redone audio track, I would say it would be a ho-ho hilarious. But as it stands, the limited amount, because you have to be able to find a DVD, first of all, and then even when you do find it, the sound is terrible. Because at first, I thought it was just my copy of it on Daily Motion that had bad audio. But then Jay's like, I can't understand a thing that's going on.
I think I texted you 5 minutes into this movie, and I can't hear half the things that are being said.
I was like, oh, well, that sucks. And for that reason, I'm going to have to give it a You'll Be Sorry, just because it's not worth investing money in the DVD or trying to find a copy of it to watch online because you're only going to get half the movie, basically.
Yeah, You Will Be Sorry as well. Honestly, I don't think this movie is unforgivably bad.
No.
There are so many movies we've watched that have been worse than this.
No, I would rather watch this again than Trapped Alive or The American Scream or Krampus the Christmas Devil.
Or Slade. Or
yes.
I think there is half a good idea here, with some great monster designs and a story that is a mashup of Evil Dead and A Christmas Carol. I don't know if I don't think I mentioned that. I had this moment where I went, oh, there are 3 demons that come to visit him in his house. And I'm like, it's kind of a Christmas story.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I'm like, or sorry, not a Christmas story, A Christmas Carol. And I was like, oh, that's really kind of interesting. They kind of mashed up that idea, mixed it with like you and I both said, with Evil Dead, there's some heavy Sam Raimi in here.
Dead. You know what? Honestly, Shaky Gonzalez should go to Sam Raimi and ask him if he wants to be executive producer on a Christmas Evil Dead, and just do it. Evil Dead 2 is kind of a remake of Evil Dead with some extra stuff. Maybe just pull one of those and just be one hell of a Christmas 2, and it's more or less the same movie. It's what you wanted to do the first time but didn't have the budget to do.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that could totally work.
But yet,
A Shudder original.
but the bad acting, the hard to follow plot, the dropped storylines that just
Yes.
get brought up and never get brought back, and of course the horrific sound mixing just make this a you'll be sorry. It's not worth your time, unfortunately, because it should be worth your time.
I mean, I'm sure it sounds awesome listening to us describe the plot and everything, but to watch it is pain.
If there were one of those things, I don't know like where to get these things, but like people like to do those weird like mashups of like a bunch of clips from like weird Christmas movies or weird Halloween movies and like put them at, like, I think the American Genre Film Institute loves to do like a weird like a bunch of weird Christmas movie stuff and kind of mash it all together, and they release that. I think like on Vinegar Syndrome or whatever. If that was a thing and like someone grabbed a bunch of scenes from this, the scenes in this are amazing. Like if you could find just kind of a mashup of like all of the monster effects and monster scenes, that is worth your time, but the rest of the movie's not.
No clips exist of this movie anywhere. I tried to find clips because I wanted to rewatch when I was doing my notes. I wanted to rewatch some of the kills. But yeah, you can't find clips of this anywhere. You can hardly even get a copy of the trailer. So I don't know if it's been like scrubbed from the internet on purpose or just no one's cared enough to upload it or what, but it was really hard to find anything.
I think the only place I found the trailer was on IMDb. Also, it needs to be said, maybe this is on me, I did fall asleep twice during this, which is also never a good sign.
I did not fall asleep.
I fell asleep about 10 minutes into when Carlitos is leaving prison and hitchhiking. I started to drift off and then stayed awake for the rest of the movie. And then right at the end, when when his son and wife come over to visit, I started to drift off again. So I had to go back and watch it, watch the end again.
I wish I could say I was surprised, Jay, but I'm honestly not at all. When did you watch this? In the morning, afternoon?
Part in the afternoon, part in the evening.
Oh, okay.
I had to split it up.
I just split it up between naps.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
I wish I could recommend it. I really do. But just in the state that the release is in, I can't. Because I could forgive. I mean, you're talking to a guy who didn't totally despise Bigfoot versus Krampus. I could forgive the drop plot points and like the nonsensical weird stuff that happens because of how good the effects and stuff were in some of the fight scenes. But you can't even really watch the movie the way it was intended. So there's really no point.
That's the thing. Like, I think I would have enjoyed this if the sound mixing was good. Mm-hmm. Like I think this would, like you said, I think this would easily be a ho hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's like, why does Krampus versus Bigfoot have all this great sound mixing, even with it sounding at times like it's being recorded in a moving vehicle?
Yes. No, that's the first thing I thought of when I heard some of the dialogue in this movie. I was like, did they get the guy who recorded that ADR for Krampus versus Bigfoot? But that sounds better, honestly.
Yeah,
than
but
what
that sounds
happens
way
in this
better
movie.
than this.
Yes, the moving car dialogue from Bigfoot versus Krampus is better than the dialogue in this movie.
No, it almost feels like the remember we did Silent Night, Bloody Night, and neither of us liked it because the DVD copy was so bad.
Oh my god, yes, you could barely tell what was going on.
Like this is that, but it's the sound instead of the video quality.
Yes. I mean, it's sad because I could see maybe we'd have to check out a couple of his other movies because I know he's done other movies. But it's sad because I think this movie could be much more well regarded if the sound was fixed.
But yeah, like Silent Night, Bloody Night, like it's one of those things where like we got a comment on that video like maybe a month ago of someone being like, oh, like I really like this movie and blah blah blah, and I basically had to be like, I wish we liked it more. We just cannot tell what is going on. Mm-hmm. And if we had watched it on Tubi, it actually has a better version than our DVD version. Like,
yeah, that's insane.
Once again, a movie that like if that ever does get like a boutique Blu-ray release, which Matt Dupé's told us why it hasn't so far.
Yeah.
But if it ever does wind up getting out of production hell for this boutique Blu-ray release, I think we'll have to do it again just just because we can actually tell what's going on this time.
I would be totally willing to revisit this movie and that movie if they were to be re-released in a new copy.
Yep. But yeah, just like two movies where it's just unfortunate that it's unfortunate that we have to give that, because otherwise it seems very competent everywhere else.
Yeah. No. It's sad, honestly.
But you have to just stop to think maybe we're wrong.
Yeah, we're totally wrong.
And maybe we're getting close for Christmas.
I think we are.
Just so we're all on the same page. I think at least 2 of my reviews mention the person being like, and I like B movies. Like, this is a great B movie. And once again, I like Blood Beat.
Yeah, true.
I like Two Front Teeth.
You're talking to Jay Logston, the man who likes Blood Beat.
Like, I clearly like bad low budget movies. I'm not some snooty fucking asshole.
No. I mean, he likes Blood Beat. He's obviously not some snooty asshole.
But like, no, I know a bad movie when I see it. Like, come on, guys. All right. I've got 4.
All right, go ahead.
10 out of 10. All mine are from, as usual, all mine are from IMDb. 10 out of 10. Dude, you guys are harsh. I liked this flick. Everybody else on here keeps busting its jingle bells because of the budget. That's not why we're bashing it. But to tell you the truth, I was impressed that they put something that good together with what they had to work with. I would recommend this movie to any student filmmaker as well as anyone else. I mean, honestly, does a movie really need a multi-million-dollar budget and a bunch of well-fed Hollywood hams to be watchable? No, but it needs good sound mixing.
So you have to at least be able to hear what's going on.
I mean, for all you guys that are dissing it, you sure seem to know it. You sure seem to know it form the opening credits to the end. Personally,
Yes.
Parasanally. I think it is so sad that so many self-proclaimed film gurus on the net have such a cynical attitude towards the B movie side of the horror genre. Must admit, I've seen some crummy low-budget flicks, EI, that's what they wrote, drive-in gag.
Okay.
Once again, I don't think you are. I would say we're film gurus, but no,
I am. I am a film guru.
Yeah, self-professed. Sorry, self-proclaimed. But no, we don't have we don't have cynical attitudes towards B movies. Like, once again, I like Blood Beat. Like, shut the fuck up. Jeff likes.
I like all kinds of garbage on here.
Jeff likes Bikini Bloodbath Christmas.
I defended that movie against Jay Logston, against all rational thought. And I'm going to have to defend it to Matt Dupay when I see him.
And you know what? It's better than Krampus vs. Bigfoot.
It's true.
Once again, I owe apologies to that, and I owe an apology to the Polonia brothers in SRS Cinema. Mm-hmm.
Not looking so bad now, is it, Jay?
All right. Do you have another? Do you have one?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
A festive fever dream from the depths of hell. 5 out of 5 stars.
All right.
One hell of a Christmas. This is like if Sam Raimi got blackout drunk on eggnog and filmed a demonic fever dream in a warehouse with whatever actors he was able to find sleeping behind a Denny's.
Hells yeah.
And I mean that as a compliment. The plot makes almost no sense, and that's exactly why I love it. Demon Santa, why not? Full-on apocalyptic chaos wrapped in tinsel? Yes, please. The effects are bonkers. The acting ranges from community theater to possibly on drugs. And the editing feels like it was done with garden shears. And yet, it's magnetic. It dares to be insane. This isn't just a Christmas horror movie. It's a blood-soaked midnight mass for trash cinema fanatics. A glorious, incoherent Danish holiday miracle.
I love it. All right, 10 out of 10. One hell of a movie. Wink. Stinky Gonzalez's work cannot and will not go unappreciated. But I can't get the guy's name right because it's shaky.
He's stinky, Jay.
In a room full of cynical young men and women, this film triumphed, leaving us awestruck in its wake. As it flawlessly wove from scene to scene with a grace and raw passion lacking in most of its B-movie contemporaries, we were all struck silent. Probably because you couldn't hear what was going on and you were trying to listen for it. Looking forward to Angels of the Night, hoping it can hold a mere candle to this monolith of B cinema.
I like it. All right, Jay. I'll go to a bad one. 2 out of 5. There's bad. Then there's whatever this is. The movie feels like someone dared a group of ex-con interns to remake The Exorcist using only beef jerky and fog lights as props. I think there was a plot about a recently released criminal trying to spend time with his kids, but then a demon shows up and people start screaming in Danish, so I'm not sure what happened. It's not scary, it's not funny, and most of the time I couldn't tell if the film was intentionally terrible or just the victim of a cursed sound editor. The only reason I gave it 2 stars instead of 1 is because I laughed so hard at the demon Santa I nearly choked on my popcorn. It's not so bad it's good, it's just so bad it's confusing.
Once again, he's not really a demon. We're not talking about Satan Claus here with the devil wearing a Santa suit or whatever. Like, this is just a guy who's Satan who maybe says he's also Santa Claus.
Yes. Well, you know, Jay.
10 out of 10. Not too shabby. Well, okay, I rented this movie under the assumption that it was really horrible and cheesy, which it kind of was. But then again, I love all B movies. Once again, we love B movies too. Like, we're not snooty. The beginning was actually not bad, but then when the demons start appearing, the voice dubbing is shot to hell, especially with the female one. He. Anyways, I loved this movie and recommend it to anyone who loves B movies. 2 thumbs up. Once again, we do like most of this movie. But I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10. Like, come on.
Yeah, it doesn't deserve 10 out of 10.
And then I got one last one. 7 out of 10. Surprisingly good for a bad movie. I rented this movie expecting to hate it and or to fall asleep during it. I did twice. I was pleasantly surprised by the actors, although a couple of the voices were annoying. Maybe that was the Danish accent.
I guess.
Who I felt did a good job considering the material they had to work with. Can me weird, I think they mean call me weird, but I found Mike Thor Lindhart strangely sexy despite his bad teeth.
Sure, why not?
What does that say about me? The storyline was, of course, fairly predictable, but enjoyable nonetheless. All in all, I give it 2.5 on the Leonard Maltin bomb to 4-star rating. That's from Bare Naked Jimmy.
Oh, okay.
And you know what? Bare Naked Jimmy, I don't know that I would give this 7 out of 10, but I would probably give this 2.5 out of 4 if the sound mixing was better.
Yep. All right. One hell of a waste of time. 1 out of 5 stars. I've seen many bad Christmas horror films. I even own Jack Frost 2. Yuck.
Shut the fuck up. Jeff, end it now. We're done.
But I knew this would trigger Jay. That's why I pulled this one. But One Hell of a Christmas made me question not only the existence of cinema, but also whether I had accidentally ingested expired eggnog laced with meth. The editing looks like it was done during a seizure. The acting is criminal, and the demon, imagine a Muppet that was set on fire and cursed to wander a Danish hellscape yelling nonsense. It's not even fun bad. It's, I had to go outside and stare at a tree for an hour just to feel real again bad. This movie deserves coal, not in its stocking, but in its soul.
So I went back, I was looking at, because I was like on IMDb, a couple people, like, I'm like, there's a lot of like low ratings, and I'm not going to like read all of them, but multiple of them are like, I'm not going to watch any more Fangoria movies because of this one.
Yeah, I did see quite a bit of that.
And I was like, once again, like, I don't think this is the movie where you should go, I'm not going to watch Fangoria movies. I would be like, hey, Fangoria, give these people more money to like redo all the sound mixing.
I got a few I can read off Rotten Tomatoes real quick.
All right.
Was watchable. Was hoping for a little more since it's Fangoria Presents. You figure if they put their name on it, they should have at least watched it first. 1 out of 5 stars.
Oh, also real fast while we're talking about Fangoria, I do want to say BC-14 also got his start with a short on a Fangoria movie.
Ah, yeah, we did mention that.
Yep. So we're, once again, Fangoria, varying quality. All right, anyway, go ahead.
Oh, right, yeah. No, I was agreeing with you. Yes, Fangoria is very varying quality. Pretty cool, nothing special except someone being fucked to death and a real ugly cast. I mean, full on uggos. 2 stars.
Harsh.
Nothing much happened. 1 star. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess, yeah. It was good, GUD, but I hoped it was going to be scary. 3.5 out of 5 stars. Boring and features horrid special effects.
Whoa.
You can't help but laugh at this atrocity of a movie. 1 out of 5 stars.
Okay. Now,
That's too harsh. That's too harsh. Even for me.
Yeah. Like, come on.
The resident film guru. It's a little harsh. That's all I got, though.
All right. Well, Jeff, let's take devil, Santa, monster guy,
Put him on our Santa list.
put him on our naughty list, along, and maybe his minions as well. Maybe
Sure.
his little guy and the other monsters.
Little guy, Wolfie. All this.
You know, zombie stripper,
Yep.
cowboy poster man,
Yeah, yeah.
and demonic Santa. The gang is all here.
We'll
Let's put them all on our
should we
naughty
call him?
list.
Clint Poster Board.
I think his name's like Cowboy Jack.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, let's take the whole gang.
The whole gang. Phew.
Little guy on his own would probably be top of the whole list. He's great. He doesn't do anything. He's just a little guy.
Yeah. If we're ranking power levels, I'd say probably not as strong as the devil from Letters to Satan Claus.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say maybe just below like Satan
Yeah.
Claus. Like this is still a demon, but Satan Claus seems so much more powerful than
Yeah.
this.
No, Satan Claus definitely would win against this guy. So yeah, I'd say below him on our surprising ranking of Christmas devils.
Yeah, the fact that we have 3 already. And I think we've at least got one more coming.
Yeah, at least one more.
Oh boy. And that's not counting Krampus the Christmas devils,
True.
which is a whole different level of devil. These devils are on another level.
They're on another level, Jay. Another level devil.
The level devil
God.
with a bevel.
All right, Jay, we're yapping
All
again.
right. Anyway, it's time for this.
Garbage day! Huh? No!
All right, Jeff, buddy. Well, as we mentioned, it's late spring. It's getting to be summer. It's getting to be hot out, and I was kind of missing Halloween.
Okay. What did you do to me?
Got
oh
some
no.
Old Smoky Tennessee moonshine, pumpkin spice cream.
Oh God. Why did you do this?
Enjoy within 12 months of opening.
Oh well. Guess you and Andrea are gonna have fun.
Shine responsibly. I was looking if there was any more information from Old Smoky.
What was the Captain America thing? Oh yeah. No, Jay. I don't think I will. I don't think I will shine responsibly.
And we got some salted caramel Butterfingers
Okay, that's not as bad.
and chocolate covered pretzel Oreos.
Ooh. All right. You've redeemed yourself for the moonshine.
Yeah, I
Jay.
decided I wanted something a little. Once again, saw this at Hy-Vee in
I wanted something that would taste good after the inevitable horrid moonshine.
I saw this at. This is another candy corn whiskey where I saw this at Hy-Vee and I went, oh, I got to try that. I got to make Jeff drink that.
Honestly, I could picture exactly that happening when he first laid eyes on it at Hy-Vee.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh, God, he's opening the jar. Oh, man. It looks like milk. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. It smells like drain cleaner.
I was gonna say it smells more like Bailey's than it does pumpkin spice.
Oh, man.
You ever drink Bailey's from a shoe, Jeff?
Unfortunately.
Do you love me? Could you learn to love me? Old Greg.
Possibly.
All right.
All right.
Let's give it a shot.
One hell of a Christmas.
One hell of a Christmas.
Not bad.
Yeah, honestly, not terrible.
The way it looks is worse than the way it tastes.
Great pumpkin spice flavor. Oh my gosh.
No, I like it. All right, let's do 3 or 4 more of those, then I'll drive home. Jay. My wife would murder me, even if I didn't crash on the way home.
They show up here and murder me.
Yeah, definitely. But no, surprisingly good. I don't think you'll have any problem getting rid of that in 12 months. Jay.
Yep.
Just try 12 minutes later after Jeff leaves.
No, we're going to talk about doing it during our stocking stuffer, where you're going to tell me about the BC-14iverse.
That's true. You might need a couple more during that.
All right, let's salted caramel Butterfinger.
I like it. It's got a pretty mild flavor, but you can definitely taste it's in there. Definitely different than a standard Butterfinger.
Yeah, I feel standard Butterfingers have gotten pretty bad.
Yeah, they're not great.
No, not terrible.
It's because they were sold to that Ferrero Rocher company.
Oh, were they? Mm-hmm. Okay. I noticed when you buy them now, they're very like crumbly. Mm-hmm. And like I'm like, I don't remember Butterfinger ever being like this crumbly.
Mm-hmm. No, I like it.
No, not too bad. I got some nice salted caramel flavor on that one.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
All right, let's wash it down with another. Wait, sorry, no, not with more Old Smoky.
With another moonshine. Pass it on over, Jay. Need something to warm up my toes before I head home.
Oh my god. Oh, that smells like once again the fucking mad scientists at Oreo.
Oh my god, you're right.
Like this smells salty. This smells like a pretzel.
All right, I guess here we go.
Hold on. Pretzel flavored cookie.
They did it again, Jay.
Honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna say it might be better than, but like, remember how surprised we were with the Sour Punch Kids, Sour Patch Kids,
Yes.
Oreos, and like, this is on that level.
Yeah, it's up there. It's definitely got to be one of the best ones they've done. No, I don't. The people at Oreo need to get in contact with the people at M&M so they can help them make their things actually taste like what they're advertising. Whatever crazy food scientists they have at Nabisco, I don't know how they pulled this off, but every one of these Oreos has been good.
No, like this is fucking, and like I wasn't even expecting. I was legitimately expecting to hate this, and this is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not even that big of a fan of chocolate covered pretzels to begin with, but these are pretty good.
Goddamn.
I don't know how they keep doing it. Somebody needs to look into this.
Right.
Jay.
Yeah, are we looking into this?
This is what our troop should be eating.
It is.
No, they already have a problem being fat.
I was gonna say, don't let RFK Jr. find out about these. Then we might lose. Then we might lose all the Oreo mad scientists.
You know what, Jay? For a stocking stuffer, I'm gonna go to Washington D.C. and eat an entire thing of Oreos while RFK Jr. watches me.
I'd record that. He'd be like, Jeff, what are you doing?
I'm getting healthy. What's healthier than pretzels?
No, my brain worm.
It's a healthy snack.
My brain worm died.
You didn't feed enough pretzel Oreos,
Yeah.
obviously.
I can't believe that the joke from Futurama about Fry's brain slug starving to death is a legitimate thing that happened to that man is currently serving in our government. God, what a fucking nightmare country this is. Anyway, if you want to get in touch with us, send us an email, horrorfortheholidays@gmail.com. Get in touch with us on social media. We are at horror4holidays, horror4holidays, and all the places.
YouTube.com/horrorfortheholidays. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, leave us comments. Let us know how you think we're doing. Bad, probably.
Most certainly. Jeff, people that listen to this are fucking sickos.
Yeah, I know.
Listeners, I'm sorry, you're fucking sickos if you enjoy this.
They're sadist freaks. They know what they're doing.
Normal people shouldn't listen to this.
No. Normal people, Jay. Normal people. Are there even any of those left?
Podcatcher of choice, 5 stars. Put down if you're a real sicko.
0 stars if I could.
Yeah.
Then we'll know it's you.
Yeah, we'll know that you're a real sicko like the rest of us.
We know you watch things like the BC-14 Cinematic Universe review that's about to come up.
And I don't know, other weird shit.
You're gonna be watching Fat Boy Summer. I can tell you that much.
Oh yeah. Get ready for Fat Boy Summer.
I need to find a Miley Cyrus AI that can sing us a Fat Boy Summer song. I want Party in the CIA, but for Fat Boy Summer.
Jeff, that might be. God damn it, that might actually be a good use of AI. I hate to say it, that might be a good use of AI.
I'm just gonna give the AI pictures of us shirtless and be like, write a song about these 2 guys having a Fat Boy Summer. See what it comes up with.
Oh God. As we know, man, that might be a good use of AI. All right. Well, anyway, also we're proud to be part of the Christmas Podcast Network. Check out the other podcasts there. They're sure to be better than this.
They would almost have to be.
Holidays After Dark, Seasons Eatings, Totally Rad Christmas, all that good stuff. Christmas Creeps. They're kind of in our remit, but they're also a little different. Check them out if you want something weird. But yeah, otherwise, we'll see you next week when we dive headfirst. Jeff takes us on a journey into the BC-14-iverse.
Oh my God. Listeners, I caution you. This episode is going to be even worse than usual. You think you've heard some scary stories, some tales I've unearthed, some I've written. There's nothing is scary is what I'm about to tell you on the BC-14 Universe Review.
But until then, after that, we'll probably be back with one last Christmas horror movie before we dive headfirst into Fat Boy Summer.
Yep, we're bouncing our heads off the bottom of the pool in Fat Boy Summer.
Oh God, all the water spilled out because the two fat boys jumped in.
Oh no.
Anyway, thanks for listening.
Goodbye.
Bye.